Today we're going to begin to use the language of economics to tell stories. You will hear me use several terms that you've been studying in your text: supply, demand, price, equilibrium, shortage, and I will focus on a new term or concept, that's elasticity, which describes the market response to a change in price. I want you to take notes. Make sure you understand the terms and get ready to tell your own economic stories in text, in illustration, in video, all the time using this new language that we are practicing. So let's look at today's story. A tale of supply and demand. Why is the price of milk so high? Can you explain this? What part of the supply-demand equation does Bessie the missing cow represent? The obvious answer is that Bessie is a loss to the farmers, and that leads to a contraction of supply. Why does the price of milk go up then? In simple terms, if there is less product and presumably the same level of demand, then the price of each unit of that product will go up. What economists call more people chasing fewer goods. The most pressing question you should be asking now is, how much is supply contracted when Bessie goes missing? Is Bessie our only source of supply? Probably not. But for purposes of this story, let's assume she is one of very few cows providing milk to our market. Then, with Bessie lost, our overall supply contracts significantly. So what does this look like on our supply-demand graph? Here's the graph. Take a minute now to review the basic features of that graph. On the vertical axis, we mark price. On the horizontal axis, quantity. The demand curve in red reflects demand's inverse relationship to price. That is, the higher the price of a good, the lower the quantity consumed. Demand curves are typically downward sloping to the right. The supply curve, in blue, reflects supply's direct relationship to price. That is, the higher the price, the more product produced. Supply curves are typically upward sloping to the right. But in this case, price is not the driving factor. Bessie is. The supply of milk is not dropping because prices are going down. Instead, supply is dropping because we lost Bessie. In this case, the entire supply curve will shift left on our graph, as the arrow shows. That means at every price point, there will be less milk available. And as the curve shifts left, the market will find a new equilibrium price, much higher than the previous price, at the spot marked X. But now let's look at this story through the eyes of our consumers. Will we continue to buy milk at this outrageous price? What kind of a product is milk anyway? Is it a luxury good? Can we do without it? Is there an obvious substitute for milk? Orange juice? Tea? Coca-Cola? In fact, I would argue that most American consumers view milk as a necessity, a fundamental good that is not easily replaceable, at least in the near term. We need milk for health. That means, in economic terms, that demand for milk is relatively inelastic, that a change in price will not cause a comparable change in demand, that is, in consumer behavior. So elasticity is a new concept. Now pause the video and take a look at this graph and imagine what shape the demand curve will take if demand is inelastic. Okay, let's put Bessie's loss in a more realistic light. Well, she was a key resource and no doubt beloved by her farmer. Bessie is not the only cow in the pasture. And if we agree that the demand for milk is strong, then an increase in price will not be a deterrent to buyers. So, returning to that supply and demand graph, we might redraw the demand curve as a vertical. Here you see it in turquoise, suggesting that at every price point, low, medium, or high, Consumers will continue to buy a given quantity of milk. Bessie or no Bessie. That's my story. Now your assignment is to tell your own economic tale. I look forward to hearing them.